So this really isn't a horror story, but everyone in the D&D party was very playfully annoyed with this one character. My friend was playing a goblin warlock who also, for some reason, wanted to do stand-up comedy. She was constantly making bad jokes and quips at the worst possible time, so much that, at one point, she sabotaged a rescue deal we were making because she made a stupid joke about her captive. Anyway, outside of that, our DM for that game decided that whenever she would make a bad joke, in character or not, we would all take 1d4 psychic damage because the jokes were that bad. Wait, you all? I watched as my D&D party was destroyed, burned to cinders by a red dragon. Our party's druid turned into a brontosaurus and jumped out of an airship. The resulting explosion obliterated us all. What of you? How did your party die? I cannot continue. Come on, these group therapy meetings only work if you're honest with us. Okay. My group was wiped out by psychic damage after I said that the warlock could only be beaten by the war key. My sympathies, my brother. Would you like a hug? That would be a lot of work in editing. I don't think we should. Yeah, that's a good point. We never finished that campaign, but it was a lot of fun. Look, is that a dumb ruling that could absolutely kill off a party for a dumb reason? Yes, but at the same time, it seems like you guys are having fun. Everyone's got those in-jokes, and sometimes it's all good for those jokes to have a little bit of pain attached. So about 2 months ago, a few of my friends met on Lethal Company and wanted to start a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Some of us have experiences in D&D 5th edition prior to the first session, so we figured it'd be fun to play, especially since we've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 together for a while now. Our players consisted of a ranger, barbarian, cleric, fighter, and a druid. Everyone seemed to be getting along, and seeing how two of the players, the cleric and the fighter, were relatively new to Dungeons & Dragons, we naturally wanted to have a healthy campaign of 50% fighting, 50% roleplay. This was going well until the druids started having problems, as well as metagaming. The problem started when our cleric was having a roleplay session with a tribe leader that worshipped Timora, and in between the roleplay, the player controlling the druid would always interrupt, having something negative to say about the roleplay, discouraging people from interacting many times whenever we were interacting or just doing things to roleplay or have any sort of moments. During all this, he would step in and shut it down. Yes. The cinema sins of D&D.
And I am no longer afraid.
Come on, couldn't the Raven Queen have done that earlier when they were fighting the dragon? Why does this have to happen now? It makes absolutely no sense. Congratulations on the contrived roleplay moment, I guess. When our barbarian was just attempting to roleplay his character and do things to show his character's personality, the druid would begin to threaten to kill off his character, which everyone became irritated about. This caused the barbarian and the druid to have conflicts at the table that would soak up so much time in the sessions. This ultimately translates to other characters not being able to step in and interact with the world in fear that saying the wrong thing would end up with them getting hurt. My ranger always kept it neutral at all times and tried to de-escalate situations, but by doing so, he became the target of the druid's arrogance. There were many times when the DM tried to step in and shut down the fighting and started giving us 15-minute breaks to wait for people to cool off, but all this continued and unfortunately scared our fighter right before her story content was supposed to take place. This was a big blow to morale because this was her first ever D&D session, and honestly, she was unfortunately put in a group that was just not healthy. The druid did not care and mentioned how we didn't need her anyway and that her inexperience slows everything down, especially during combat. Right, because pausing the game during every roleplay interaction, that doesn't slow things down at all. In D&D, that shouldn't be canon. Shortly after that, he began to look up very meta builds to run his character on and picked up things that really did not make sense for his character even through his backstory. This led to him becoming a huge problem since he wasn't running XP like he was told, which led to him becoming level 5 2 sessions before anyone. Dude, what is the DM doing through all this? He started to outdamage our barbarian, out-healing the healer, and making everyone feel like they were side characters and he was the main one. He often stated how he was a god and that we should feel grateful to have him on our side and that he could easily wipe us all out. The DM had a very big story-driven fight lined up for us, and the druid alone basically took the entire fight and made it look like a generic low-level encounter by summoning 8 brown bears and constantly wild-shaping whenever he had the chance, DM, where art thou, balls? I have taken 5 extra levels. I have Googled the most overpowered builds on the D&D Shorts YouTube channel. You will never stand against me. None can stop my... DM? Wait, no. Okay, anyone but that guy. You can't, that's cheating. Hello, Dungeon Master, God of this world. Can you, deal with this? Yeah, what? Oh, no. Oh, well, all the stuff is already on his sheet, so, can't do anything. Yeah, you're screwed. Wait, what? Yeah, it's sort of out of my hands now. Your god has abandoned you! This is ridiculous. Come here and die! I had a big issue with him personally, as he didn't want me to play my Beastmaster Ranger how I wanted to. My character's backstory has always stated how he had some sort of connection to Lolth, and he wanted to become her champion, so naturally he had a spider companion. Apparently, even though he was a druid, once I was given my spider companion, he magically had arachnophobia, which led to him making remarks towards my companion and actively fought with me in Discord to leave my pet behind. I responded out of character telling him how the spider is tied to my character because it's a character I made to represent my pet, my real life pet that had died a few months before the campaign started, which he made nasty remarks about. During our last session, our DM expressed how he didn't like the route this campaign was going towards and made a new rule that basically tries to repress out-of-character hostility, and after reminding him once to look over and read the new rules, the druid left the game right before yet another big fight. Bro really said, it's now a rule that you need to be nice to each other. And it worked? Okay. Yeah, I guess so. My solutions are usually a bit more final, but okay, that's not what I meant! Lastly, he loved to fight with the DM's rulings on anything. If he rolled to do something and failed, he would call the DM out and say how it was BS, that he couldn't do the thing, even though he is proficient in it. He refused to roll dice on D&D Beyond and fudged a lot of his IRL rolls because he wasn't on camera. He always asked the DM to have very meta items to optimize his build, and still caused a lot of problems when the DM said it wasn't in stock or was out of his price range. And he would roll insight to do things when his character wasn't in the room and be included in the conversation just to gain the upper hand. So, TLDR, a toxic player with a god complex scares off our first-time player, threatens to kill anyone who disagrees with him, and always fought against the DM when things weren't going his way. DMs who get into situations like this because at the end of the day, you are not prepared to handle stupid people. You're prepared to play a game that's hard enough to run as is without the stupid people. But for the love of God, leveling up without the party, putting down other people during roleplay, trying to be the top of the DPR charts and being generally obnoxious, this is too far. I think even the most timid DMs would admit to themselves that this is ridiculous. And look, this guy tried some stuff, like putting in a rule to prevent out-of-game conflict. That's all cool and dandy, but those kind of tools are good for people who actually are going to use them. They are meant as a safety net for players with good intentions. People with bad intentions or selfish intentions like this guy, they're not gonna care. Frankly, they just gotta go. I was at a writing server on Discord, which was pretty great, but there was this 14-year-old who thought edgy jokes were automatically funny despite him having zero ability to pull them off. Let's call him Kyle, which is the perfect name for a person like this, oh my god. He was invited to the group. We were all over in our 20s because he said he wanted to learn how to play D&D 5th edition, which was really nice because it is something I'm passionate about, and seeing people become interested in it makes me very happy. The Dungeon Master even sent him the rules he bought with his own money on DriveThruRPG just for Kyle. He got the player's manual, the monster manual, the Forgotten Realms rulebook. So we decided to go through a one-shot Dungeon Delve tutorial so Kyle can learn the roles and get him comfortable with role-playing before he joins the campaign properly. And then, Kyle presents his character, a half-orc fighter who became a knight through trial and toil. Nice character concept with some good roleplay possibilities, but then he said his name, Sir Nicholas of the House of Gur. If you don't get it, say Stop! Do not finish that sentence. I have come from the darkest timeline, traveled back here, because in my time, in my world, Crispy's Tavern has fallen. If you finish that sentence, you will meet the same fate too. What's the big deal? I'm just saying, Nick. I've done it. The timeline. Crispy's Tavern is sane. Okay, but anyway, yeah, he named his character after the N-word. Suffice to say, the Dungeon Master went, you change the name right this instant, or else you're out. But then, Kyle started to complain that, I want to play a character like this. And then one of our friends shot back with, this isn't funny at all, dude. Change the name. Then Kyle relented with, it's just a joke, guys. Relax. The session did not go so well with him making remarks about his character, having his orcish heritage taken away, as well as him being overly horny about it because he saw the dryads, drow, and nymphs and wanted to, quote-unquote, have his way with them. The straw that broke the camel's back was when he wanted to... Let's be honest, guys. It was inevitable. Yeah, he wanted to have his way with an NPC, and he was kicked out, but not before going... That's what an orc would do. Big orc is like my favorite fantasy trope, and I will not have this heresy tolerated in my tavern. Orcs are cool, not creepy. The DM was pissed and threatened to ban him from Discord, only for Kyle to leave because you're a bunch of gay nerds anyway. I left the group during the lockdown anyway because of life in general and being tired of trying to write without succeeding, but I'm managing with some really great friends and planning on trying to get into either Cyberpunk Red or Pathfinder once I buy either rulebook. Now, luckily, this guy is 14 years old, so this person does have room for character development, though I think we all know too well that some people never grow out of that age demographic. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully in the future, this person will learn how cringy they are and change their ways. But does that mean that you need to tolerate it? Absolutely not. People don't change because you let them act like this. Boys will be boys is not an excuse. This guy needs to learn. And kicking him out of a group is a good starter. Though maybe his parents need to do a better job at making sure their son doesn't turn out to be the worst of the worst. Hi Crispy, love your videos, and I think it's time I add my own to the mix. I would like to start out by saying I feel like I'm at fault just as almost everyone else in the story is at fault, but here we go. This is my first official D&D 5th edition experience, and it took place at a middle school game club. Oh no! Not children! Anything but children! Kidding. Anyway, this person was in 6th or 7th grade, and I was in it with two of my friends who were also interested in Dungeons & Dragons, Red and Trevor. Not real names, of course. And we got help from one of the teachers helping with the game club. She was really nice and helped make our characters. I made a half-elven, half-myconid, the mushroom people that I absolutely love, and have made my own homebrew race for them. Oath of Vengeance Paladin, who was a bounty hunter. Red made a tiefling bard air acrobat? I don't know. The teacher brought it up as an idea, and other than her race and class, it's the only thing I remember. Oh, and Trevor was playing a dragonborn draconic bloodline sorcerer. Something each of us worked into our backstories is that Trevor's character got away from me once, the bounty hunter stuff, but we're square now. We were a lot younger. And now I'm currently hunting Red's character who is hiding out at a traveling circus. Anyway, the teacher was planning a one-shot for us to do for the next club meeting, but as she was doing that, another group had recently finished up their game, and being the stupid kids we were, we asked to join them. We were accepted in, and I feel bad for all the prep the teacher went through to get the stuff ready, and if I ever see them again, I would like to apologize to get closure. Dude, that teacher is working crazy overtime with crappy kids, rating your stupid essays and dealing with your dumb parents in the PTA meetings, and prepping a D&D campaign that you abandoned? Satan is calling. He wants to say he's a big fan of your work. Big fan. As a forever DM myself, I now know the pain of planning something and not getting to it. Anyway, back on track, the campaign they were planning was a space one on Mars, and Trevor got skeptical, but again, being the dumb child I was, and still am, I told him it was fine. Anyway, a whole lot of people joined the game. I can't remember all of them, but there were 2 I remember. Jesse, who was playing a Warforged monk, and Dave, who was playing a homebrew slime race. I think Spelljammer was out by then, but I doubt he knew that. His character was kind of overpowered, with the only weaknesses being cold and fire damage. Anyway, so we skipped session 0. Sorry, we didn't know the concept before watching your videos. You're kids, so I won't resort to horrific violence to punish you for this crime. At this point, we start the campaign. We get on a city on Mars inside a dome and get the pitch that something was stopping the shipping from other planets to Mars. Anyway, either the whole party, it was more than 6 at the beginning, was really dumb, or the DM wasn't dropping any story beats for us. We eventually go to Red's circus, and the DM gives control to her, and looking back, I think it was a terrible idea to give that sort of control to a first-time player. Anyways, we go into the circus, and we're greeted by a lot of Mickey Mouse clones. I can't remember whether that was Red's idea or the DM's idea, but Dave's character just starts consuming them. I'm assuming that means consuming their performances? Right? Anyways, we're watching the show, and to get us all out, the people who run the circus summon a giant, deformed Mickey Mouse clone to get everyone out. After that fiasco, we go about without incident, and by that, I mean nothing of interest happens, unless you count Dave's character continuing to eat the Mickey Mouse clones around the city. Okay, I feel like I'm in danger. Rodents are friends, not food. That is until the last day of the club, where the DM just decided, screw you, level 1 party, you're gonna fight an eldritch space god. We have no context on what happened, but we attempted to fight it, and we couldn't think of anything, so Red does what every bard does, and just rolled for seduction, and didn't do too well. But the DM wanted to see what would happen, and had her roll again, and she did very well, so you can imagine what happens next. They got married, I think. Oh, thank God. I thought the next scene was going to be something straight out of that one loser's Hentacle card game. Don't look it up. Anyway, my character is done with all this, so I decided to just jump from Mars to Earth. I got a nat 20, and I survived. I can't remember what happened to everyone else's characters, but the DM did a little epilogue with Red and the Eldritch God ruling over the universe, and for some reason put my character in it, and said he was their servant now. That was a pretty bad first experience, but luckily me, Red, and Trevor started up a new campaign with our friends. A horror story for another time. And now Trevor is in a campaign that I'm currently running with our friends. Anyway, I thank you for reading this horrible first experience, and I hope you have a good day. Oh my God, this is the definition of 7th grade nonsense, and you owe that teacher big time. But then again, I don't know, maybe karma really did bite you in the butt. Instead of playing a game that probably would have been a lot better, you got this. I guarantee you weren't the only first-time players. I am almost certain that was a first-time GM, especially with the age range. And yeah, this kind of thing is going to happen. Is it ideal? No. But when you're young and dumb, you come up with young, dumb ideas. I mean, do you have any idea how many terrible stories I had drafted up in my head when I was a kid? The number is very high, to say the least. Look, it doesn't look like anyone was traumatized by this story. It was just a dumb fever dream of a 7th grade D&D game, and honestly, I think that that is okay. You're young. You got plenty of time for character development. So this is the story of the fastest I ever noped out of a campaign. It's thankfully a short one, but it was a whole thing. So I'm used to being the forever DM, and it's hard for me because of past experiences to trust other dungeon masters besides a few close friends. But regardless, sometimes I do want to play instead of leading, so I decided to look for a game I could play in. A bit of background, my favorite character to play, as long as he fits the setting and would mesh well with the story, is a Tiefling Oath of Vengeance Paladin. I know, Paladin players. Trust me, I'm embarrassed by how many of us are given a bad name. Okay. Can we get some positive stories about paladins in the comments? I love paladins too, and I just made a sick paladin character. Let's talk about good paladins for a damn change. He's fairly upbeat, friendly, a bit too much like a himbo, has a tragic backstory, but he really doesn't like to talk about it and prefers to focus on the here and now. He is also a trans man, as am I. This is an important main detail. I see where this is going.
I think there will be transphobia in this story.
Well, yeah, like, no duh. So, I find a game advertised that looks fairly appropriate for what I want to play, as in, it's 5th edition, it's a Forgotten Realms setting, good old dungeon dive in some kind of crypt. I apply. So one of the first questions the DM asks in the application process is to describe my character. So like I said, paladin, trans man, and an important part of his design is that he does have surgery scars on his top. He joined the Temple of Ilmater, and his adopted family actually performed the surgery for him because they supported him. A very important moment in his backstory that turned his life around and helped him feel loved and accepted. Well, this guy tells me that he thinks as a paladin, with my main stat being charisma, that my persuasion checks might go a little better if my character had a quote-unquote better body, and brought up the idea of healing her so that her breasts will go back. Bibbidi bazonkazonks being required for charisma is the most out-of-pocket thing I've heard in a while.
Warriors of Tsushima, look to the sky, for the gods bless you with divine purpose. Now, head back!
Hey, wait, sorry, I'm just really not feeling it.
What? What's the problem? Dude, the enemy is at our door. We must slay them!
Sorry, me and the boys just feel like there's something missing here.
Okay, what do you need me to do to make you follow me into battle? To save our home and our families?
Boobs.
What?
You know, like bibbidi bazonkazonks?
Well, I don't...
That sounds like a skill issue.
Give me a second. Better? I will follow you to the deepest depths of hell.
Yeah, I have never hit the block button and noped out of a conversation so fast in my life. But hey, small silver lining. I guess it did give me inspiration for a way to protect my pally from ever being thought about like that again. Because he worships Ilmater, I thought it would be cool if the scars were sacred because of Ilmater's own wounds and the wounds of his holy martyrs. So now I've added to his story that they're an important part of his faith and cannot be healed because they are a sign of devotion to his god, which a lot of people seem to really like in the stories I've written about him outside of tabletop, and when he occasionally appears as an NPC in my own games when players encounter the clergy of Ilmater. First, that last idea is really cool. I wish it wasn't done because of a creep, but still, it is a really cool way to signify devotion to a god, and a great way to incorporate your faith into your character's design. I love that kind of thing. But yeah, this kind of showcases the importance of good old-fashioned, casual, small talk. Good God, the amount of problem players that are exposed by just having a normal conversation is shocking. And the fact that this happened before the game even started is perfect. Another good thing is you didn't hope that it all would turn out. You just left. You don't need to deal with people like this, okay? If there's a red flag, nope out. It's not like you've been in this campaign for years. This is a new stranger you've never met. You don't owe him crap. Hey, that's a wrap. If you guys enjoyed, then you might enjoy the last episode of Tabletop Tavern Tips going over horrible D&D advice. This series is back. It's linked in the cards. But before you go, please do leave a like on this video and subscribe to Crispy's Tavern as soon as any of our content as it comes out. And finally, if you have your own stories or thoughts, go down into the comments down below. If you can't think of a comment, leave the comment. You named your character after what? So let me know you made it to the end of the video. Hey, by the way, if you have your own horror stories, you can send them directly to us. There's an email down in the description down below. Send your stories our way for a chance to be featured in one of these videos. But hey, even if you don't have any stories, and that's like, comment, subscribe, I will see you all next time. Farewell.
Crispy's Tavern is